What's happening, guys? Welcome back. Now, here's the deal. May 20th. Check your clocks. Check your calendars. That could be a matter of hours away. Live and free, 6 o'clock Eastern. EagleFC is going down only on the FlexCast app. You want to make it real easy? Go to EagleFC.com right now and get signed up. All right, we got Khabib, we got Kamaru, we got Henry. I'm Chael P, and we're going to take a little trip around the horn of MMA Khabib. Let's start with you. I got to tell you, I'm a fan. I am a fight fan. I watch everything on TV fight related. I have not turned my TV on and watched MMA in a period of time without seeing you. My sense is you are busier now as a coach, trainer, and a promoter than you ever were as a fighter. Am I close?
Yeah, it's like right now it's like I'm more busy than I was active athlete, you know. I have so many guys around me. I have to take care of them. You know, I have EagleFC. I have to travel around the world everywhere, you know, and yeah. It's a little bit busy.
And what's that like emotionally? I mean, you're very opposite roles. When you're a fighter, you got to be selfish. When you're a coach, you got to be selfless. Like when your guys are in there and competing, do you feel something different than when it was you yourself?
You know, it's like, of course, I feel different because when I was fighting by myself, I can fix anything inside the cage. But you know, it's like when you're outside and your close friend or brother inside the cage, you know, and you just have to talk, you know, you cannot do nothing. It's like a little bit hard, you know.
Sure.
Yeah, Chuck, it's crazy, you know. You talk about like the commitment of a coach. Like I literally got in this morning fairly early, 5:30. I'm at the lobby. Who do I see? I see Khabib. You know, he's helping his brothers cut weight. So they talk about dedication. The dude is dedicated. You know, me waking up at 5:30. I don't know.
Oh, that's beautiful. And Kamaru, I got to talk to you real fast because I saw a picture of you. It was on the internet. Now I'm going back about 2 months, but you just had surgery. Your hand was wrapped up. There has been the worst rumor in MMA is that you're going to be fighting with Leon Edwards, but we haven't gotten a date. Are we closer to that?
I mean, it's crazy now because it's, you know, I never really take time off to do anything. And so now that I'm forced to, and especially with the year that I had last year, it's almost like, you know, the fans and the media and the public are just kind of, they're entitled to me being in there next week, next month. And so I'm seeing all these news everywhere, which is why I stay off the internet nowadays, of, oh, you're fighting in June, oh, you're fighting in July, oh, you're fighting this month. No, the biggest thing for me right now is to make sure I want to be able to step in there and fight healthy and be able to get more and more fights in. Because if I don't do it now, I go in there too soon, I hurt myself. Now I'm out for an even longer period of time, or the longevity of my career might be cut short. So now I'm just listening to the doctors, and they're saying a couple more weeks, and I might be able to start actually throwing the hand the way I want to throw the hand. And then I'll go from there. But no official date yet, but you know, Dana, they seem to like Leon Edwards. I seem to like Leon Edwards. You know, the world seems to like Leon Edwards right now for the first time, and so hopefully we'll do it.
All right, so nothing's changed. I mean, I didn't miss something within that answer. Your hand is healed. It is going to be Leon, and we don't yet have a date. Do I get that right?
Hand's almost healed.
All right, excellent.
Couple more weeks.
Excellent. And Henry, if I can move over to you, you made some news back in the USADA pool looking for an opponent. We getting any closer on that?
Of course, but I've been inspired here at EagleFC. You know, watching these guys, you know, throw blood on us like that last time, Chael. You know, so there's a lot of good options. But I'm coming back. I'm reclaiming my crown. And I'm going up again. I'm taking somebody else's crown too.
All right.
So I'm greedy. I'm a gold digger.
I love it. No, I love it. All right, guys, let's get into this. I got to tell you, there's always been talk in MMA about the size of the cage. I don't know anything about it. I don't know a big cage from a small cage. I don't know anything about it. However, for the first time, I'm changing my tune. Because this is a tight cage, and we are going to go in a main event with Junior Dos Santos and Yorgan De Castro. They are literally 2.5 steps away from each other. If they both take 2.5 steps, we're meeting right here, and all hell could break loose tomorrow night. Khabib, what do you think of this main event?
You know, it's like, I think a lot of people underestimate Yorgan. I think, you know, and I think it's tomorrow night they're going to give hard fight for Junior Dos Santos because he can fight, he can punch, you know, he have very heavy hands, you know, and he have very good submission game, you know. Everybody see what he did last fight inside this cage, you know, how he choke out his opponent, you know. And I think he's going to give very hard fight for Junior Dos Santos.
We saw Yorgan 2 months ago right here. We did a press conference, and he faced off with Junior. I will tell you, at the weigh-ins this morning, De Castro looks like a very different person. I would guess he's down close to 25 to 30 pounds, which I think speaks to the dedication and how serious he's taken this opportunity.
Yeah, it's like yesterday I was talking with him. He said this is like most important fight in his life, you know, and he understands this is very big opportunity for him, you know. And he told me like he's not gonna lose this fight, you know, no way. And you know, his opponent is like big name, one of the biggest name on this game, you know, Junior Dos Santos, former UFC heavyweight champion, you know. He was couple years, he was like face of the game, you know, like 10 years ago, and it's very interesting fight.
And Khabib, there was a report that came out today, the Associated Press was talking about a meeting, a rumored meeting between you and Scott Coker coming up to discuss a possibility of Junior Dos Santos versus Fedor. Is this rumor true?
Yeah, yesterday we talked with him. I talked with him with Scott Coker. Next week I'm gonna be in San Jose, help for my guys in training camp, and of course I'm gonna meet with him and we're gonna talk about this. First of all, we have to watch what's gonna happen Friday night here in EagleFC, and if Junior Dos Santos show us his great performance, we're gonna sit and talk. We're gonna sit like talk about like some serious business, you know.
Excellent. And Kamaru, I got to tell you, when you were making your run, you were back on the Ultimate Fighter. You had a dream of getting in and getting your name in the lights. Junior Dos Santos was a champion of the world, so I know you've watched this guy. I know you at some point you even admired this guy. What do you think about him coming back, making his return, doing it here in EagleFC?
It's amazing just to be able to watch that, because there's somewhere in a contender's journey to where you have to run into that big dog, the alpha that's been there for a while, that's been at the top of the mountain, and you have to show, you got to establish yourself as I've arrived on the scene. You have to be able to step in there and knock off that big dog, and that's what Jorgen is attempting to do, because now we look at, you know, towards the end of JDS's career, you know, with the UFC, it almost kind of seemed like he didn't necessarily want to be there anymore. You know, he took a couple of losses that, you know, people might underestimate him now or think that, okay, he might not be that guy. But from what we've seen lately from him, he's reinvigorated, he's rejuvenated, he wants to be in here, he's excited about competing again. So I think Jorgen, that's a tall glass of water for anybody to drink, being able to step in there with JDS, because he looks refocused, and if he's anything like the JDS that we're used to seeing, I think he's got a second life on his career. And
Henry, let's talk about Kamaru's point. You're a coach, now you're a trainer. If you're working with JDS and you understand he's got 4 losses, this isn't a physical battle, this is a mental battle. How are you going to advise him coming to this match with Jorgen?
Well, I think the biggest thing is experience. I think the time that he's put in the octagon. Obviously, Junior Dos Santos has put in, I mean, he's got hours and hours like in the octagon, which is crazy. And I think he needs to use a lot of that. You know, he's going up against, but to me, like, there's so many storylines to this, because what about, you know, De Castro? He ends up winning. You know, to me, I told him today during fight meetings, like, this is the Rocky Balboa. He comes out, he beats him, like, it puts him in a really good category to eventually fight for the EagleFC belt. But not just that, Junior Dos Santos wins. I mean, you're talking about cross promotion. You're talking about EagleFC cross promoting with Bellator. To me, that's the most exciting part, because I think it's a new trend. It's a new trend that could potentially happen where MMA could just officially become just one.
And see, I'm glad that you brought that up, because I asked Khabib about it. We set that down and walked away. That is a big deal. If Khabib is going to get together with Scott Coker and they're going to try to fight, I mean, is it going to be in Bellator? Is it going to be in Eagle? We got a lot of questions here. What do you think about this, Kamaru? What should they do?
I love it. I love it, because it's something to be said about being #1 across the board. Knowing that you are the fastest human on the planet across the board, that's undisputed. There's something to be said about that. And so to have one champion, one guy across the board that is the man at the top of the mountain, I mean, there's something to be said about that. I'm excited. I can't wait for Bellator, Eagle, UFC, you know, AKO, it doesn't matter.
Sure.
I can't wait for this promotion.
Well, it doesn't have to stop with Fedor and De Castro, by the way. I mean, if you're over there talking to him, let's see what Benson Henderson's up to. Let's see what McKee's up to. I mean, right? Let's get a few guys on the table, I would imagine.
You know, it's like,
you want to play this one close to the vest? Am I digging into it? Because there are a lot of things I want to know. I mean, if you pull off the first Coke promote, this is going to be fascinating.
No, it's huge. I mean, you know why though? Real quick, Khabib, is because this man is well respected.
Sure.
You know, he's a very well respected man, where he can call Dana, he can call Scott Coker, he can call anybody in the roster that will all pick up that call and will be interested in what is it that he has to offer. And I think that's the greatness of what EagleFC is. We have a great leader, that's going to be able to put these fights together, that can create something that's going to just build a gap between all these guys that we can fight against each other.
Sure.
We really can.
And Khabib, how much of a look can you give us behind the curtain on this meeting with you and Scott Coker?
You know, it's like we just need Fader from Bellator, you know. And of course, like, first of all, we have to talk with Bellator, like with Scott Coker, and I think we have very good offer from Saudi Arabia. Maybe we can make this end of this year in Jeddah or Riyadh, somewhere like in middle of desert, you know.
Sure.
And we have couple very good locations. We have here Miami, we have Moscow, we have Saudi Arabia, Riyadh or Jeddah, and you know, it's like of course we have good relationship between me and Scott Coker, and we have Fedor, we have Junior Dos Santos, we have everything. We just have to bring everything together and just let all fans around the world enjoy.
Excellent, excellent. My interpretation of what was just said is that we are going to go to this meeting, but we're looking to get Fedor over here. Is that what we're hearing? That sounds right for now?
Sounds like.
All right.
I like it.
I do too.
Can you imagine?
I do too.
Can you imagine having Fedor fight? I would actually like it in this arena.
It's special.
Honestly. This arena is so cool, man. You can feel the punches, you can hear the noises. I mean, like I said, we had blood spilled all over us that last event. I mean,
there is something special though when Fedor comes in.
I'm just thinking with these heavyweights, man. They're 2 steps away before they freaking hit each other.
Yeah.
You know, it's crazy.
All right, co-main event, guys, and I'd love to tee this one up just because it's Hector Lombard. If there's anybody that I feel story did not get a fair shake, it's Hector Lombard. At one point in his career, he was 22 straight wins. And I remember people trying to dismiss him or trying to say that he didn't have hard opponents. I remember going 22 training camps, 22 weigh-ins, and 22 fights, and he won them all. Give this guy his due. Now, he did a lot of his better work at 170. He eventually moved up to 185. That's very relevant because tomorrow night, he's going to be at 205 with a very legitimate light heavyweight in Thiago Santos. Khabib?
About this fight, I'm very exciting because I think someone gonna go sleep, you know, in first round. This is my prediction.
First round, yes.
In first round, I think someone gonna sleep, and you know, and same time we have very interesting fight for Hector Lombard after this fight, you know, because we have one more fight contract with Alexander Shlemenko. They fight 10 years ago. They already fight each other in Bellator middleweight title, you know. They have big story, and they both have contract with us, and it's gonna be very interesting. Even tomorrow night, like Friday night here in EagleFC, and in future, end of the year, I really want to make this fight, you know.
And Kamar,
see, this is when you start putting on the promoter hat here, because you're looking ahead, because I'm starting to be in this realm as well. So when you're like, he's already planning. Okay, we've got this going on, that's amazing, you know. And I think it's a tremendous fight, because I've had the pleasure of actually training with Thiago Silva, growing up in the sport and actually seeing this man, you know, go through the ups and downs of MMA. And he's a guy he's a very, very game opponent. Thiago's not going away slowly. And so you actually have to put him away, or he's going to be there all night. And you can ask any training partner that he trained with. He was one of the hardest workers, and the guys that's in there. He's willing to push you. You know, I mean, I've never had the pleasure of training with Hector Lombard, but I've heard some stories. Yeah. We've all heard stories. And so I think this is going to be a fantastic fight. I want to say I agree with what Khabib is saying, because both guys come to fight each and every time, and both guys were always those guys to where they knew that we're front runners.
Right.
We gotta, you know, we have an after party, you know, in an hour, so we gotta make sure we get this fight over with as quick as possible so we can get there.
Specifically 205 pounds though. I mean, Hector's going to be giving up some reach, and I don't, you know, you talk about cardio. I don't think Hector gets tired, but I do think he uses the majority of his energy in the first round. I don't think he manages his energy well, right? Well,
that's well said. That is well said.
He puts his foot down. He comes out there. If the second round comes around, he's not quite the same guy. At 205 pounds, does Hector have the power that's going to be necessary if he's got to get him out of here?
I think I mean, the power is power. When you're a guy like that, when you're that short, compact, I think the power is always going to be there. I think Hector's one of those guys, if Hector hits a rhino at the right spot, it's falling over.
Sure.
So I think they both have the power, but I just think that Thiago's a little more used to being up at 205. to where Hector is not necessarily used to it. But Hector knows if I got a first round, if I can get in there and I can land that shot, I'm knocking this guy down.
And Henry, we're sitting here talking about our analysis from watching these guys, but these guys used to be teammates. They trained together every day for 3 years. That's the way the story's been told to us. What can they gain from each other with that experience?
Well, I remember actually being at ATT, and I was out there for like a month, but a lot of people don't know that, like when I started my MMA. And I remember those were the two guys that nobody kind of wanted to go with, because they were just like, it was, they'd give you hell to hold that class. It was like all the above. And I think that's what, I think they respect each other, but they also know that they're both, you know, they're both willing to throw out the kitchen sink in whatever situation may happen. Man, we might even need some security guards out here, but man, it's an interesting fight, and I go back to, like, I think about Hector because obviously he's a shorter man. He's gonna really have to use his grappling.
I think that's right. And don't forget, he was an Olympian in judo, but he doesn't do a lot of grappling. I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah, and the other thing too is we have to keep in mind is Thiago, he trains with Tyrone Spunk. I mean, how much, you know, when you train with an elite stand-up fighter like that, how much better are you going to get? And I know that I'm curious to see what the outcome is going to be.
All right, guys, those are our two big ones that everybody's looking forward to, but we got a stacked card top to bottom. I mean, 6 o'clock Eastern tomorrow night. Some fights are going to break off. Khabib, is there anybody you're specifically looking forward to?
Honestly, I'm like very exciting about Daryl Horcher. He's going to fight versus Ahmed Ali.
You fought him.
Yes.
You fought him one time. What's that story?
I fought with him here in Florida. I supposed to fight with Tony Ferguson, and like 9 days before fight, Tony get injured. And I remember, like, it was Thursday. It was Thursday. UFC called me. I was in my grappling practice in ATK. Next Saturday, I supposed to fight versus Tony Ferguson. They called me. They say, Tony is out. We have opponent for you. I'm like, and they told me his name is Daryl Horcher. I'm like, okay. I watched. He was like in a local show, welterweight champion, and he come to lightweight. And it was his first fight in UFC. Yeah. Of course, I finished him, but I'm very excited about his fight Friday night here, because he have opponent, very tough opponent, very exciting striker, Ahmed Aliyev. I know him. I trained with him long time, you know, couple years in Dagestan, and it's gonna be a very good fight, you know.
And Kumar, for you, what fights going under the radar are you looking forward to?
Man, there's a lot of great fights on this card, a lot of UFC vets. These are guys that have been at the highest level. For me, there's a couple of fights. Obviously, my buddy Sean Bunch on here, but Sean Soriano. I mean, this is a training partner of mine, a guy that that has watched me throughout the progression of my MMA career, and I've watched come in to his own. And I mean, he's one of the most talented strikers I've ever seen. And I've seen some talented strikers. I mean, we've got Tyrone Spong, and but Sean Soriano is one of the best strikers I've ever seen.
And what do you know about Sean's opponent?
He's taking on Paulo Silva. Okay. You know, also trains down here at MMA Masters. Those guys do a tremendous job of preparing their guys for fights. As I know, I fought Colby Covington my last fight, and he was trained over at MMA Masters. And you know, as you saw the result, it was just a unanimous decision and not a. You know, I didn't break his face this time. Sure. So you know, that goes to show how they prepare their guys. They really prepare these guys. But Sean Soriano is you know, after taking a step back now again from the UFC, I mean, he's about to become a father. And so there's something that does something to you. It's a different switch that you have to make mentally of how you go out there and you approach your career and everything that you're doing. So I'm excited for that fight. I can't wait to see him put on a striking display.
And Henry, what one are you looking forward to?
Man, I'm gonna have to go with Sean Bunch. You know, my Olympic teammate. You know, the guy that I spent probably the most time in my elite career wrestling. You know, Olympic alternate, NCAA finalist. Sean Bunch is kind of like the guy. He's actually one of the most decorated wrestlers, like in mixed martial arts, like now, like today, and he's only getting better. Obviously, we saw him fight here the last EagleFC, and he continues to keep showing improvement. And I think if Sean Bunch can continue to keep getting better with the striking, with the wrestling that he has, I think he can beat anybody in the world.
All right, so you were a teammate with Sean Bunch. You're a fellow wrestler. You were a teammate with Sean Bunch. Let me be critical of Sean because he is one of the best athletes in MMA. I will go that far. His record has surprised me, and his ups and downs have surprised me. What am I missing? Because when I look at Sean, I go, okay, that's the guy you don't want to deal with. But he's had trouble putting everything together from time to time.
Only one thing is here, like age. He's 39 years old, you know.
39?
Yeah.
Wow.
Today I asked him, how old are you, Sean? Because you look like 24, you know.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm 39. I said, no way. He says, yes, I'm 39 years old.
Yeah, he would be,
like,
wouldn't he? Because when he was an alternate for the Olympic team, that was 2012. God, time flies.
Sean-
Or is that
Sean-
blown
No,
up?
8.
2012.
2008.
2008.
Oh, and 12, because I was thinking we lost to
Two-time
Coleman.
Olympic alternate.
Okay.
He lost to Mike Zadek.
Okay.
And then
Coleman
and then
Scott.
Coleman.
Honestly, on 12, he didn't lose. No, it was bullshit decision.
controversial.
It
I
was
agree with
very
that.
bad decision.
And I was
Just
there.
check
I
this.
know. Let's watch it, man. I'm curious to see
It blows my mind that even though he's 30, none of us knew he was 39. He still moves like a 22, 24 year old.
Very
Which
athletic.
is so he's a superb athlete. I think it's just kind of been a foundation of his career because, you know, some guys just jump into MMA and they just have to run with it. You know, to where some guys strategically start from learning the basics, whether it's kickboxing, whether it's the things that we didn't know as wrestlers. And so I think just maybe a little bit ups and downs in that realm has kind of hindered it a little bit. But you see Sean every time he steps in here, there's not a person that I can say Sean can't stay in there with when it comes to competing. So I think it's maybe clean up a little bit of though and just focusing a little bit more. But I mean, Sean is a tremendous athlete. For 39 years old, I don't know many 39 that can say that better athlete than Sean Bunch.
And I'd love to give a shout out to the fans for Ronnie Marks. Now, in full disclosure, he's a teammate of mine, but I've never seen a guy with worse luck. Ronnie Marks went overseas. We're all training in Portland. He goes overseas to Brazil to do a fight. He comes home, there was no fight. The fight got canceled. I was at a Bellator 3 years ago in Hawaii. He's in the back. He's going to be the main event with Josh Barnett. They come out, they cancel the fight. It never happened. The last EagleFC, Ronnie Marks was on, and just before bell time, that fight got canceled. So, I mean, I got to tell you, if bad luck follows anybody, it's this guy, but he's as strong as they come. He's a black belt in jiu-jitsu, trained by Andre Petitneris. Ronnie Marks is something special, and I want to be on record. I'm looking forward to that one.
Yeah, of course, man. There's so many great cards, Uncle Chael, that it's great. And I think the matchmaking that EagleFC has done it has been entertainment. It's been a treat for us. There hasn't been one boring fight. We're gonna see a lay and pray type fight. And I tell you this as a wrestler. You know,
What you trying to say? Why'd you look over this way when you said that?
well, because we're all wrestling, right? We're all wrestling. Right?
We're all laying prayers at one point.
Sure.
At one point, but that the sport has evolved and just the matchmaking that has been done at EagleFC has put EagleFC to the next level that it's slowly climbing them ranks, man.
For sure.
Everybody watch out.
All right, guys. Thank you all for hanging out with us a little bit, but I got one surprise for you, and it's not about the big fight tomorrow. It's not that it's live and free. All you got to do is get the FlexCast or sign up now at EagleFC.com, but I'm only going to tell you tomorrow. See you guys then, 6 o'clock Eastern on the FlexCast app.